Hello there everyone, how are you doing today? I hope you are all well. Today we'll be reading a story called DarkNet is Not the Worst Place. I found something way more menacing. It's called the LightWeb. If you enjoy, please check out the original story at the description below. Check me out at the following websites under the names listed here. And be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Now, without further ado, let's get started. You don't know me, and I don't know you, who you are. Let's keep it at this safe distance. There is something I have to tell you, and who knows, maybe it could cool off a couple of wandering minds in their searches for relics of the web. I bet you've already heard a couple of 100 times about the DarkNet, deep web, and that kind of stuff. A set of non-indexed internet pages on the servers that stay under the radar, where you can get all sorts of stuff. Drugs, weapons, documents, information. Bunch of stories went viral and made it to the national news. They say you can hire a hitman there, or buy a kidney. But trust me, since the thing went above the surface, all you can do there is book an FBI visit straight to your door. But as thousands of web pages emerge every single day, there will always be a corner no one has checked yet. I am what you might call a net stalker. People love labels. They make things easier to understand and categorize. In my spare time, I like to browse through the web and discover things no one else heard about. Sometimes I even get contracts from the big guys to do some penetration testing. And I am just one of the many. Think of it as a hobby that sometimes pays well. I was there before the whole Silk Road thing exploded. I was there when the group of individuals went on a raid to shut down the network of shady sites with disturbing content involving kids. I am still here, and a couple of my aliases are known in certain circles. But this ain't about bragging. What I'm trying to say, I'm no joke, and I'm here not to tell crappy horror stories about internet cannibals. So, I found this thing called the LightWeb, and I want you to never make that same mistake. It's actually not that hard to trip on it. Yes, you need a certain browser to access the thing, and no, it's not Tor, I2P, or anything more complex. In fact, you would need a specific version of Internet Explorer, and since it's obsolete, I sort of feel safe to make this confession. It seems that the Netscape Navigator works too. From technical point of view, both browsers had a critical vulnerability at that time that would allow injections of scripts directly into the application. So, frankly speaking, technically, it finds you rather than vice versa. And to actually get access, you have to visit one of those web pages for housewives, with tons of clickbait ads, and click some. If you're lucky enough, after 5 to 10 steps down the rabbit hole, you'll get a blank page with no URL given. It will be a plain white page with a couple of forms requesting your name and email, and a submit button below. That's where the fun begins. I remember doing it for the first time when I've entered the address from freshly created 10-minute mail. Imagine my surprise when the page refreshed with the red text message saying, "We are terribly sorry, but it seems you are using temporal mail accounts. Please enter your real mail account. Have a lovely day." I have no idea how they managed to pull that off. Must have been a really tight algorithm to track the origin of the mail, keeping track of the list with questionable domains. Imagine my confusion as I've said, "Alright, fine. created a dummy Gmail box to input instead and saw the message. We are terribly sorry, but we do not accept freshly created Gmail accounts. Please enter your real mail account. Have a lovely day. Shit, this thing was real. Actually, it sounds insane, but it wouldn't surprise me if these guys had back doors in the most unexpected places. Besides, this could be a pet project of some bored engineer in the company. A lot has changed since Don't Be Evil morphed to Do the Right Thing. I'm just saying. So just to make sure, I've fired up some accounts with some other services. Same results. At the point, my curiosity skyrocketed. What could possibly be hidden beyond these gates? I just had to know. So I punched in one of my older email addresses, input Matt as my username, and hit submit. And to clarify some things, I'm not stupid enough to use a mailbox that had traces. And no, Matt is not my real name. But I'll get there eventually. The page changed, the forms disappeared, and only a single line of text was sitting in the center of it. Welcome, Matt. We'll return to you shortly. Enjoy your day. Pre-moderated accounts? Really? I thought back then. Later that evening, I received a message. I know you're going to question my expertise after what I'm going to say now, but I shit you not, it happened. I received a mail from a non-existing sender, and when I say non-existing, I mean it had no address. The info in the header just read, from ... That was some next level, or at least, I've never seen stuff like this. The body of the message read, Hello and welcome, Matt. We are happy to see you in our small yet happy community of LightWeb. We are really glad that you made it. LightNet is a place where you tend to maintain things, nice and cozy for every member out there. Please be the better version of yourself when you talk to people. There is no place for negativity, foul language, aggression, mocking, dirty jokes. The list went on. My first impression was that I hit a local community of Orthodox Mormons, minus the God, plus the tech skills. We hope you enjoy your stay with us. Just remember not to break our rules and spread the light. Best regards, Mrs. Goodwin. Wow, that was quite something. Like a group of elite, tech-savvy Care Bears or something. The email also contained a URL leading somewhere unknown, as hovering over it or inspecting the page element in a dev console showed just an empty string. But as I was safe and sound running my crap in a sandbox of a virtual machine, I clicked it. Next thing I saw before me was a website utilizing the best traditions of 000 designs, all colors and background images. Do you guys remember the glory days of MySpace? That kind of stuff. A large header on the top of the page shouted, Welcome to LightWeb, the place for nice people. There were a couple of dozens of links underneath, some sort of newsfeed and a chat. I suddenly jumped as my headphones exploded with Beach Boys' Good Vibrations intro. I nearly had a heckin' heart attack. Yes, back in the days, the peak of your taste demanded to include an audio clip or a song to play once. The page got fully loaded. Most of the times, it was something silly like, Welcome to my webpage, or Keith here, how you doing? But some individuals went all the way down and uploaded music tracks, which resulted in horrific loading times, especially if you were a lucky owner of a 33600 kbps Modern. But as I lowered the volume down and went to look through the hyperlinks, my eyebrows went up. Mike's Garage, Betty's Cooking Class, How to Be a Good Parent, Gardening, Tips and Tricks. Like, what the hell am I looking at? Was my exact thought. Who would build this to host BS like this that multiplies uncontrollably on Facebook and Food Network? I couldn't understand. Was it just another layer to hide something much more serious deep under? So I've clipped a couple links and dug into reading. Some guy was asking what was the best way to get rid of mites. The next comment suggested different solutions from a certified pest control worker, and the one below offered to drop by with a box of the stuff. Some lady asked if there was someone willing to help her move her furniture around the house, and there were 3 pages of posts from people who offered aid. Free doctor checkups, stuff giveaways, party invitations, dog walking, babysitting, and suddenly I realized this place was like a whole unicorn compared to the regular internet. There was not a single word of criticism, envy, shameless self-promotions, and attempts to be seen. Those people communicated as if they were a big cheerful family, and that family didn't even have that one uncle. It was all there, a perfect utopia, a community that could not possibly exist due to human nature. Each one of us tend to slip into a darker corner of ourselves. Yet, it was the perfect example that everyone stating evil and I was wrong. Or at least those people put in some inhuman efforts not to show their flaws. Any question you had, any life problem you got, you could be heard and you could get help. Unbelievable. Pretty soon, I started to realize that the whole thing functions. First of all, there was no anonymity. Everyone used their real names. It would be Jack in Manchester or Njapalu in Munich. Suddenly, I've discovered that my neighbor downstairs, Mrs. Reyes, was part of it too. There she was, holding a pot with ficus, giving tips on houseplants, smiling in the picture. So when I saw her posted message reading, "Help needed, taking a cat to the vet clinic," I didn't hesitate and went straight to her door. "Yes?" she asked as though she inspected me through the crack with the door chains, hanging there with a safety measure. "Hi, I would like to help you with your cat problem. Just read your post and since we're neighbors," I replied. "Excuse me, but do I know you, young man?" She stared back at me. "I'm your neighbor. I saw your post on the LightWeb and..." I didn't give up. "But what? Look, I don't want any trouble. Please go away," she mumbled as the door closed before me. Wow, that was not very friendly, was it? But I'm quite a persistent person, you know. So I went upstairs and posted a reply. "Hi again, Mrs. Reyes. We just talked at your door. I'm still here if you change your mind. Have a great day." 30 minutes later, I was distracted with a knocking on my door. There she was, smiling with a tray of fresh cookies. "I'm sorry, young man. I don't really trust strangers. But now I know you're Matt, and we're in the same club. So these are for you, and yes, please, I would like you to take me and Mittens to the vet clinic later this week." Doing good things to people always returns the favor. It makes you feel great. My heart was singing. Just yesterday, I was an antisocial creep who spends all of his time in front of the computer screens, and today I'm eating chocolate chip biscuits and helping this nice old lady. But pretty soon, I've made a fatal mistake. I felt guilt. You see, entering fake names when you lurk into the lair of potential weirdos is one thing, but when it happens that those weirdos are the nicest people you've ever met, quite the opposite. It felt wrong to go by the fake name, as truth always comes out. That's right. So I made the most stupid decision possible. I wrote a message to Mrs. Goodwin, who seemed to be the leader of the whole thing, explaining how sorry I was about not telling my real identity, as I thought I was navigating into some shady lair. But now, as I saw the beautiful idea behind the LightWeb, I sincerely regretting my actions. I hope you understand. Thank you. I finished the message. A couple of moments later, I got the notification from a new mail. It said, "Hi, I completely understand the case here, and yes, it never hurts to be extra cautious sometimes. I won't blame you for that. Just please make sure to be truthful from now on. Respect your fellow users and never lie again. Kyle. I choked on my saliva. How could she possibly know my real name? I'm 100% sure that my email address never made it public. There were no credit cards associated. No deliveries or business discussed with it. But then it clicked. That's probably Mrs. Rise. She saw my post envelopes or heard some food delivery guy asking my name. And part of me went, oh, so you're a snitch, old bag? But another part of me was like, makes sense. I would definitely not tolerate some pretenders in this community either. Next time I've logged in, my username is changed to Kyle, which made sense. I've posted in a couple of places offering help with computers, carpool, and something else. I can't really recall at the moment. It felt right. Give and take, give and take. A couple of weeks after this was all over the place, helping people, setting up wireless networks in their houses, getting paid with home dinner and pleasant talks about things that we had in common. Mr. Burrs, the Jacobsons, Rita, Kelly, and Josh, Oscar and Jack. I made a ton of new friends. And vice versa. Each time I had a need there was always somebody for me. As I had some plumbing incident, I got a gentleman come over the same day. No fee. I sprained my ankle and when I was unable to drive to a hospital, the qualified nurse treated me with a smile. I even got my love life sorted. There was that stunning girl named Lily. I've met answering one of the messages from one of the LightWeb pages, and by stunning, I meant hot. I felt in love with her. She thought that I was smart and cute, so we hooked up. You know, the regular stuff. Movies, dinners, ice skates. It was nice and fun to spend time with her, and things between us got heated quickly, up to a point when we finally got to a bedroom. Then it instantly turned to ashes. How do I say things like this? Lily was into kinky stuff. Not the one where you get handcuffed to a bed railing or receive a boot to your nutsack. No, much, much worse stuff. Disturbing even, so we broke up. Yeah, I was a fool. She tried to talk to me beforehand, but I got the impression that she's into roleplay in her sex toys. God, was I wrong. It hit me harder than I thought. Not that I'm not used to breakups, but this was different. I was heartbroken. I was stupid. I got drunk. Yes, sir. Best way to forget it was to down it with scotch. I didn't touch the keyboard for 2 weeks straight. Waking in the afternoon in smelly clothes, throwing in some pizza pockets and heading down to the bar for another round. Clearly, I had some problems, but those are not of your concern. So that evening I crawled back in bed early. The bartender decided I had too much for the night, so he refused to serve. I said screw it, and went straight home where my minibar was still at my disposal. Holding a glass of fine bourbon with my shaky hand, I decided to log in and maybe ask those nice people to comfort me after a painful heartbreak incident. But instead, I remember seeing her photo with some other guy hugging her from behind. As she presented a pregnancy test to the camera, the text read, "We are happy to announce that we are pregnant." I felt that to the floor drop down from my feet, and this incredible wave of rage building up from my toes up to the throat. I felt my facial muscles cramp, reacting to the overwhelming anger inside of me. We broke up 2 weeks ago. You frickin' S-word. 2 weeks, and you not just get another guy by the time. Oh no, you're already pregnant with him? You trash. Not my proudest moment, but it was all I could think of. So it was alcohol in me speaking, or my inability to control my rage impulses. I didn't think twice to tell her everything about her and the lady. I was quite graphical in my expressions, making sure to hit the hardest. I clicked the post button, finished the bottle, and passed out right there without making it to bed. Waking up in a dried crust of my own bile was quite unpleasant. Yet not the worst news. The notification was blinking from my mail client. Same empty address mailbox. I cursed aloud, went to my bathroom, and quickly washed my face to listen for consequences. It read, "Kyle, I'm afraid that yesterday you have shown the worst possible reaction that is inappropriate for any decent human being. Your actions show that you're a pathetic failure that doesn't deserve to be any part of the LightWeb. Your account will be terminated immediately. We do not tolerate such behavior, and consider you a threat for our project. Have a good rest of your life, Mrs. Goodwin." And yes, as I tried to log in, I couldn't even get to the forum page anymore, no matter what I did. I tried my laptop, my VPN and proxy. Nothing worked. As if they banned me. They banned everything at once. The IP, Mac, everything. I tried to send a reply email with my sincere apologies, but it just bumped back stating that the address probably didn't exist and a 504 error. Shit. I even went downstairs to see Mrs. Rise a couple times, but nobody answered the door. None of my new friends picked up their phones. The numbers which they handed out so willingly previously. It went all straight to voicemail. It was gone. At the same time, I felt like a ruin of a man. I clearly had an alcohol problem developing. My intoxicating body ached. So I didn't think of anything smarter than driving a couple of blocks down the hood to buy some Alka-Seltzer seltzer for starters in the drugstore. Next thing I remember were the paramedics and the blood from my broken nose. As I discovered later from the incident report, somebody messed with the brakes in my car and jammed the airbag. I was recovering. Luckily, the nose was the only thing I broke. Comfort and sleep was all I asked for. But the doctor was nice enough to put me on the dropper to help with alcohol withdrawal symptoms. But this was not the end of my misfortunes, quite the opposite. That night, I saw some nurses through the glass of my ward's door. They were discussing something, whispering to each other, and I didn't like how they stared at me. Call me paranoid, but my sixth sense told me to get out of there. As I was opening the door to my apartment, I saw some fresh scratches on the lock plate. As if, well, you get the point. I didn't dare go inside, just left the key sticking there. Yeah, I know, makes no sense to you, right? But some bucko who went nuts after getting kicked in the head with a wheel. But trust me, they were everywhere. I couldn't call the police. Why? Because Mr. Burrs was the head of it. I remember him talking about his plans for retirement a couple years back, as I was setting up his son's gaming PC. I couldn't call the feds or the firefighters or even the bakery from the neighboring state. The good people knew who I was, and they didn't wish me any good. So I just vanished. I'm on the run, sleeping with the homeless, feeding on what I can. I'm writing this from a public library. I persuaded the librarian that I need to send an email to my relatives, so they could come over and pick me up after a failed attempt to settle in the country. She was kind enough to believe my lie. "Please, just don't watch naughty stuff, please. There are kids in here," she said. I grew a thick beard and practically became one with my beanie and the hood. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't believe I looked like the man 6 months ago, under all this dirt and hair. I do not seek salvation or forgiveness. It's too late for saying sorry. This lifestyle made me do some horrible things to survive. My goal is to spread word to you, stranger. Just if you are as curious as I tended to be, and you are a net stalker, stay away from the LightWeb. Just like any form of drug, it takes you high just to smash you down low. I don't think I will see another sunrise. As I am finishing my confession, I see a notification here on Reddit. I hover the cursor and click on the bell to see the first couple of lines. Hey, Kyle, aren't you supposed to write your relatives? I hope you enjoyed.
Please like and subscribe, it helps the channel a lot. See you next time.